recording. Thank you. This is a Sunland Tongue and Neighbor Council meeting, Wednesday, August 10th, 2022. The time is 7:01. We appreciate everybody coming to this meeting this evening. I'm going to go to the items on the agenda. Volunteer recognition. Did we have any volunteer recognitions tonight, Cindy?
I
Need a
can't
roll
hear
call?
all the volunteers on National Night Out. Everybody worked really hard in this community to pull off a great event. So, yes.
And thank you. Thank you to everyone who came out and to the board members. There was so much work done behind the scenes, and I just cannot thank everybody enough for the work that they did. Item B is report on National Night Out. Cheryl wants to share her screen with the photos that we took.
Okay, I'll stop share.
Okay, Cheryl. Cheryl, are you ready?
Did you want to go ahead and keep
That's okay.
Okay.
She's starting it now. So these were games that were put together for kids, by kids. The kids were given a task of putting together a game that another kid would enjoy playing. And there was about 500 people at the event.
CPAB and the Elks did a really great job. Really appreciated them stepping up, doing all that work.
And to thank the officers for the hard work that they do every day on our streets. And the band was great. We had another band originally that was going to be playing, but they weren't unable to. So Nina was able to get us another band with very little notice. and Bolton Hall was open. Thank you, Cheryl, for showing those.
Great picture.
So moving on to the next item is CERT training. Sandy is not here. Does anyone know the date of the CERT training class?
I can get you that information. I think it starts in September. And it's on the STNC website. And it's right on the front page. It starts September 1st from 6 to 8:30 and ends, excuse me, October 13th. And it's going to be held at Heart of the Canyon Church in Lakeview Terrace. And you must register. So be sure and click on the flyer on the website and follow the instructions.
Thank you. D is board member attendance. Just to let everyone know, we have a couple board members that are really close to hitting their 4 meetings. We did have, for being absent, we did have one of our board members who was removed according to the bylaws for missing the 4 meetings, and that was Michelle Wadler. She does have the opportunity to reapply for her position if she'd like. She did receive the letter according to the bylaws. Moving on to item E, feedback from Dunn regarding the March 10th letter. Raul, are you here? Carol, do you see him? Attendees, yeah, he's in the waiting room. If you could move him over.
Hello.
Hey, this is Lydia. Go ahead, Raul.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for calling me. So right now, I'm not, unless there's any specific questions. I know that we've spoken previously, and we're still working on seeing if there is any additional feedback from the department, but nothing I can share at this moment.
Okay, so Raul, I want to bring to your attention that this is a PRA request, that there was a PRA request submitted for all of the grievances that were filed against the board, not what the determination of the department was, but the actual grievances filed. So I'm just reminding you of that. And that is what we're expecting to get in our update. And
Yeah,
then we'll
I understand that, and it was in the meeting that we had, you know, that helped, I think, to clarify that. I think part of the delay here has been that there was maybe a misunderstanding as to the PRA request, but that's something that we'll have to get back on you.
Okay, thank you. The storage update, we don't have one. We're still waiting to hear. We can move stuff into storage, but we would be locked out of being able to use it. So we're still waiting for a better scenario. Item G is update on the STNC Zoom accounts paid for to Dunn and by the STNC. So the department is going to be paying for one of the Zoom accounts, and Dunn and the STNC is going to pay for a second account. When we get to a little bit further down, we'll give Raul the floor and he can update us on anything like that that we need to know. The STNC PO box update, I understand that that the box has been paid for another year. If there's any other update on that, Cindy or Carol or Ed?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. In-person hybrid meetings update. We still do not know. We still do not know if the department is going to figure out a way to do hybrid meetings. At this moment, the department has decided, or the city has decided, that all neighborhood council meetings, when we go back to in-person, that all board members have vaccinated and or will have to show proof of negative COVID test within 2 hours of the meeting. That will also apply to all community members. All community members will have to show proof of vaccination and or a negative COVID test within 72 hours for them to be able to attend our meetings. That is not an agenda item to discuss, but I think that we need to put it on our next agenda so we can have a bigger discussion about that, because there's a lot of questions as to who is going to be reviewing people's test results and the fact that they've been vaccinated, and who is going to remove people who have not done that. And there's also a lot of questions as to the fact that this would be basically saying that to our community that the city doesn't really care what they have to say and what they would like to come tell us at our meetings, because they're not going to be allowed unless they follow the guidelines. So that is an issue, and I think for discussion, we'll need to put it onto the next agenda. Next item is the STNC YouTube meeting link, so that if you want to watch the meetings, they will be available on the YouTube channel. I believe the link will be on the STNC website. And then STNC shirts and business cards. Do you have an update on that, Cindy?
I believe that Karen was distributing those to various board members. So the shirts, I know I have them. The business cards, I do not know. They may have been distributed to the board members at different events in recent weeks. So if anybody doesn't have, to let it know so we can track them down.
Thank you. Roll call, voting eligibility. Carol, did you want to go ahead and take roll?
Sure. If everybody could unmute themselves, I can go ahead and start. So Lydia Grant,
Here.
Lala Rowe,
You need to promote her. She's on her phone. Anyway, she's here.
oh, she was just here. What's the last 3 digits of her phone number? Cindy, are you co-host? Could you handle that while I do roll? Okay, thank you. All right, Ed Babakanian.
483.
Ed?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Carol Hutchinson here, Lenny Freeman,
Here, welcome back, Ed.
KT Travers,
Here.
Trevor Schmidt,
Here.
thank you. Claire Gordon,
Here.
John Van Gunten,
Present.
present. Karen Moran,
Here.
Belinda Woodruff. Okay, I don't see her. Cheryl Smith,
Here.
Shirley Kim,
Here.
Chris Rowe,
Here.
Nina Royal has not arrived yet, I don't think. Okay. Cindy Claycorn,
Present.
Mark Siegel.
Here.
Okay, so Lala, did Lala make it in?
Yeah. Lala, go ahead.
Lala?
Well, she said something and then she's offline, so she will be back, I suppose.
Okay, so
Sorry.
right now, 1, 2, 3.
Paula's hand is raised. She's an attendees.
Who's that? Oh, there she is.
One,
Okay,
2, 3, 4.
go ahead, Lala. Go ahead.
Hello, hi, I am here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, you have 15 present at the moment. You have quorum.
Thank you. Thank you. And do we have any updates on the trainings?
I do not.
Everyone in
As far
on
as I
our
know.
board is current with their training. Coming up in September, there will be some renewals that will be needed. And you can see this on the empowerla.org/STNC. That's where they maintain that data or that information. So you can see the status of your training or a board member's training status. So
It's also in the newsletter they send out every month that has everybody's trainings, when they expire and everything. So you can also look there. It comes in your emails, your STNC email.
Yes.
Okay, thank you guys. And hold on, I need to clear my screen. Okay. Completion of trainings, we did. Announce any board member recusals or paid lobbyists in attendance. Do we have any board members that need to recuse themselves for any of today's items on our agenda, and or are there any paid lobbyists tonight in attendance of our meeting? If so, please raise your hand.
I see Mary McAdam has her hand raised. but
Mary
I'm-
works for CD7. Her hand is up to be able to speak.
Okay.
So, yeah. Just checking for the others. Okay, not seeing any other hands. Then we'll move on to item C, announcement of vacant board seats, stakeholder group representative, 2 positions, details at the stnc.org. For vacant seats, I also tonight would like to announce we have a vacant seat for the outreach vice president seat. And we have an additional stakeholder group representative seat open. The details on those positions are available at stnc.org, and it'll break down what their qualifications are for those seats. Moving on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Lenny, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Yes, I will. Okay,
Thank you.
everybody set up. I pledge allegiance
To
to
the
the
flag
flag
of
of the
The
United
United
States
States
of
of
America,
America.
and
to
to
the
the republic for which
For
it
which
stands,
it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and
justice.
and justice
justice
for
for
all.
all. Still sounds
Okay.
better in person. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch your neighbor when, when we're on. Okay, go ahead and raise your hand if you are one of our elected officials. I know I'm actually going to call, I want to check with Esme first. And Officer Kloka, I'm going to call the police first, but I wanted to check with Esmeralda. Esmeralda, is Kelly Gomez here?
She said
Hi,
8.
she's giving updates at the NoHo Northeast, so she'll be here like in 3 minutes. So someone like maybe like 2 people could go up.
Just raise your hand when she comes. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, so Officer Kaloka, if you'd like to go ahead first, please.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Officer Kaloka, Senior Lead Officer for the Tujunga area. First and foremost, I want to go ahead and extend our gratitude for the great event that you guys held at a Little Landers Park. It was a great turnout, and it was good to see finally people, face to face, some faces that I've never met, but obviously we chatted via email or via phone, and overall a great event. Thank you guys again for making that happen. As far as our numbers, we have an overall like a 9% decrease on violent crime, part 1 crime, which is basically all the way from homicide all the way to personal theft. The only increase that I do have is going to be robbery. I have approximately 3 extra robberies that, more than last year. So that brings me up to a 15% on violent crime. But as far as property crime, I'm down at 13%. And that's basically, as far as the property crime, that's on you guys. Those are the efforts that you guys are doing, securing your property, and being vigilant, making those radio calls, etc. As far as any particular events or special projects that I have going on, I have received some complaints, not only from some business owners from the vicinity on Commerce, as well as just other residents in the area. So I have started paying a little more attention to Commerce. I was there earlier today, and I have reached out to patrol so we could conduct some extra patrol and upper enforcement in that vicinity. That's pretty much all I have. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me.
I do have one question, and that is, have you gotten any updates on all these, all of our lights, the overhead lights, the street lights that are out? Have they given you any other information about?
No, actually,
getting them
no, I
lit?
have not. Yeah, no, I have not received any. I know that it's been a while since we had an arrest for the theft of the electrical wire, and unfortunately, for the last arrest, it was a misdemeanor. So the guy is out. I have to check the status as to what happened with the case, whether or not he was there might be a warrant out for him, or whether or not he was actually sentenced to whatever that that was. But I will definitely make a note of that so I can follow up on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Were there any other hands raised for Officer Coloca? I'm looking, I don't see any.
I don't see any.
Okay, then we will go ahead and move on to Mary. If you could move Mary, where'd Mary go?
Mary McAdam or?
Mary McAdam, yes, Mary McAdam from Council District 7 office.
She's unmuted.
Go ahead, Mary, if you'd like to speak.
Right. Well, thank you guys. Can you hear me okay? My name is Mary. I'm the field deputy for Sunland Tahunga, and obviously represent the office of Councilman Rodriguez. Similar to what a lot of the other voices has said, I really want to congratulate the STNC and other community orgs that were out there on the National Night Out. It was great to meet some of you face to face. Like similar to what Officer Coloca just said, a lot of us have just met virtually. So it was great to meet you guys. And again, it was such a beautiful community event to see so much support for those who serve our community the most, for our officers. Yes, just did want to say thank you for that. Regarding some other updates, I know we've had a meeting since the 4th of July, but we did just get all of our stats back from the firework buyback. So we got the stats back that her firework buyback was a huge success and resulted in the voluntary surrender of over 673 pounds of illegal fireworks. Last year, it was only a quarter ton, over 500 pounds. So it was 31% more than last year. The LAPD Chief Moore and the LAPD Bomb Squad want to continue to expand this effort citywide, given its success. And we contributed 10% to the city's at-large firework buyback. So we were excited to get those results back with more details. Another big thing happening in Tahunga, I'm sure you guys have seen them going around, is tree trimming. So our office has worked closely with the city's urban forestry division to conduct the first tree inventory in Sunland Tahunga since the 1990s. So they went around and identified all the dead tree stumps, identified overgrown trees. And in this inventory, the urban forestry division identified 1,400 trees in need of service. So once we got this information, the councilwoman wanted to take action, and we were able to, so far since July 18th, we've trimmed 245, and this project will trim the 1,400 total. We'll start Tahunga north of Foothill Boulevard, from Lowell to the east side to Tahunga, from the east side of Lowell to Mount Gleason on the west side, and is bounded by Day Street and Fairgrove up to Hill Rose and Wentworth. In Sunland, that's on the Tahunga side. In the Sunland side, it will be the 210 west to Mount Gleason on east, and then from Ellen Bogan up north to McGordy south. So like I mentioned, since July 18th, 245 trees have been trimmed. One of the most notable ones that I've just seen from community drives is up in Tahunga, across from, the McDonald's and Dollar Tree off Martis and Foothill. That was some significant trimming. Additionally, because somebody mentioned streetlights just a minute ago, we did have a big win that this week 29 lights were repaired off of Riverwood and Sun Hill Estates. So that was a big win for us. Clearly, as Officer Coloca just mentioned, and most of LA knows, copper wire theft is a big issue. So in order for us to get BSL out here and prioritize those 29 lights out was a big win for us. I appreciate the community's patience in general as we try to go about that. And, this just contributes to the 32 lights that were already repaired off Mount Gleason and 16 off Apperson back in April. Another big win that I'm excited for is this McGordy Arts Center parking lot has been resurfaced. This was done by the councilwoman securing of $68,000 to have that resurfaced. Construction began end of last week and will be completed this week. The center is planning to reopen in early mid to late September. I will let their director post their finalized date, but I know the community is going to be excited to have them back. Additionally, wanted to announce that the VIN etching event for catalytic converters will be on August 25th at Hanson Dam. LAPD is doing that, and it will be from 10 a.m. to 2. It is by appointment only. I can send in the chat, lets me chat the phone number to register, or I'm sure there will be flyers going around to register. And then
Please send it to the board or to me so we can put it on our website, because we do not use chat at our board meetings, but we
Okay.
appreciate you sending
my
it.
apologies. Clearly, I'm still learning the way of the land, but I'll go ahead and send that to you guys then. And then again, all of you guys are invited to our movie night this Friday at Hanson Dam. So we're going to be showing Luca, and there's going to be food trucks there, family style events, and some orgs there that have services. So we're excited for that. And then another thing was this weekend, some of our team joined Catholic Daughters of America to help assemble backpacks for students in our local elementary, middle, and high schools, that those will be delivered to our neediest students this week before the start of the new school year. Our office donated school supplies and PPE for those classrooms. It was a mouthful, but yeah, those are some of our major updates. And then I know, just because it was mentioned on the agenda item, I'm not sure if you would like me to discuss it now regarding the leasing space, or if you would like me to hold. I'll go ahead and let you decide.
Well, if you have an answer to that, that would be great. The situation is right now, we've been told we can move stuff back in, but we would not allowed to have access to it. So that's where we stand. Do you have other information?
So yes, the last date that we've gotten is that earlier this year. I think this is pretty much where we're at, but we provided a letter to the STNC earlier this year indicating that you can store your items, but with it currently not being open to the public, none of our district offices, Silmar or Pacomas, is open to the public yet. So we're not comfortable accepting additional items while the building remains closed to the public. There was a reply by your neighborhood council president indicating that you would go to the storage and get a list and numbers prepared, but we haven't heard back from you guys yet. So as of now, we are still closed to the public. And that's the most recent update we have.
Yeah, so we did go to storage, and then we had National Night Out and realized we would not have had access to those tables or chairs or easy up or any of those things had we gone ahead and moved the supplies over. So that's why we're still in a holding pattern. But thank you.
Thank you. That's all for me.
Okay, and then Declan Floyd, go ahead, please.
All right, hi everybody, Declan Floyd from Senator Anthony Portantino's office. I'll be very brief. I just want to thank everyone for National Night Out, the STNC, all our LAPD officers, well, for what you do every day. But it was a great community event, packed. I said this when I was there, but I went to 4 National Night Out events that night, and no one did it like Selwyn Tahunga. It was really great. So thank you to everyone who put that together. Thank you to everyone who was there. It was really a great show of community support. In terms of what's going on in the legislature right now, August is the last month of their 2-year session. So August 31st is the last day to pass bills. Senator Portantino, as chair of the Appropriations Committee, has a hearing tomorrow where they will dispense with, I think it's 491 bills. So they're going to go through them all at one time. And then the next 3 weeks will be floor votes in the Senate and the Assembly to pass all the bills. And then the governor will have a few weeks to sign them into September. So next month, I hope to have a full report in terms of the bills that the senator has written that have been passed into law and hopefully signed by the governor, including SB 986, which is his big catalytic converter bill with Senator Umberg. That one's looking good. We're really excited about the chances of that becoming law, which will require all new cars sold in California to have their catalytic converters etched with unique numbers, just like every other part of the car. So that should hopefully reduce theft. But also want to encourage everyone to go to those etching events as they continue to occur. So as always, if there's anything we can do for you from the state level, please let me know. And thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And we appreciate you, Declan. You do such a great job.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to represent the senator here in Selwyn Tahunga.
Thank you. Okay, Kelly Gomez, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, Sunland Tahunga. Happy to be with you to share some updates as we approach the exciting start of school next week. Our summer programs culminated in July. We had our largest summer school ever, serving over 100,000 kids, and they were such a joy to see. I visited a number of our summer school sites, including one of our newcomer summer enrichment programs, where newcomer students worked on their public speaking, writing, and leadership skills in order to really prepare for the rigor of the starting school year, as well as college and beyond. I also visited one of our middle school summer bridge programs where incoming middle school students and English language learners received extra academic support to really make sure they have a smooth, successful transition to secondary school. We know that these summer programs are going to be so helpful to make sure every kid starts the school year strong. So really appreciate all that work, including the effort to include our preschool students for the first time ever. I am also excited to share that the district's 2022-2026 strategic plan, Ready for the World, is available online for you all to read and explore. The strategic plan outlines the district's vision for how we can improve student learning and close opportunity gaps. It outlines important goals around academic excellence, joy and wellness, engagement and collaboration, operational effectiveness, and our district plans to invest in our staff. And you can find that document at achieve.lausd.net/strategic plan. Download it there. We will also be sure to send you all a copy and the link via email after this meeting. We have also, of course, spent the summer busily preparing for a strong start to the year to ensure all of our schools have the resources they need to support our students and are fully staffed on day one. We have invested millions this year in more tutoring, mental health supports, additional staff, and enrichment programs to help us continue to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. I also wanted to briefly touch on the district's updated COVID protocols for the 22-23 school year. These were recently announced by the superintendent. And the goal, of course, is to continue to prioritize the safety of our school communities while ensuring that learning can continue unabated. Our protocols will include response testing, recommended masking, and robust air filtration in our classrooms and schools. We are also this week distributing rapid tests to every school for students and staff. And the goal, everyone is strongly encouraged to take a rapid test within 48 hours before the start of school. So if you're connected to a school community, they are distributing those tests this week. So make sure you go get your test in advance. We, of course, had hoped to be past the need for these measures, but we know every ounce of effort is important and valuable to ensure the safety of our school communities. And we're obviously working in continued partnership with the Department of Public Health and our medical experts to monitor the transmission rates and keep our families updated as things may change. And my team is busy planning events for the fall and the spring that will support and engage our local school community and provide resources for our families. We look forward to sharing more about these opportunities in coming weeks. And finally, always look forward to our partnership and so grateful for all that you do to support our schools. If there's anything we can do to help you, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'm happy to stick around if anyone has any questions for me.
Thank you. Patty, hold on one second. Patty, your hand was up. Did you have a question for someone?
Yeah, so the question was for Mary. Is there any indication that the city services has a list and the order of when the streets lights will be fixed? We've been out since March. Are we on the top of the list now? Are we at the bottom of the list? Does she have any indication, or who do we find that out from?
Hi, thank you, Patty, for asking. So yes, we do have our priority locations. I'm not sure, just from your short comment, which location you're mentioning, but you're welcome to send me an email of the location. If you report it to 311, we have record of it, but we did recently go through our list and identify the top spots. I know Ms. Gleghorn and I, we were in contact last week identifying some of the spots on Commerce, and then additionally by Pinewood Elementary. So those are some of our hotspots that we're planning to do, but if you have a specific one in mind that you'd at least like the update on, please feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to kind of give you a.
So you're doing priorities. You're not going by when they were reported. First come, first serve.
while we are in this kind of crisis mode of backlog, yes, we're going in order of priority.
Okay,
Because
thank
some
you.
circuits have, like this one that was replaced Monday, some circuits have 29 lights out, some have 2, which of course, we want to get everybody done, but we are going in order of priority while we have a limited crew out there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and please email me the location you're referencing.
I will.
Okay, and Raul Persedio.
Yes, hello, good evening, everyone. Just 2 quick announcements. One is about our digital communications policy. Due to the changes that will take effect on October 4th, we're hosting some sessions that will start with the basics of what every NC member should know and using digital channels like social media. And then we're going to move into a discussion of recommendation and tips for NC administrators managing the social media accounts, websites, or newsletters of their neighborhood council. The next session is going to be taking place on August 31st. I will share the link to sign up or RSVP for that via my monthly email updates. And that is going to be Wednesday, August 31st from 6:30 to 8 p.m. After you RSVP, you will receive the Zoom details for that. Our communications director will be the one leading that meeting. So highly recommend you attend if you are available for that. The other thing is something that was referenced earlier today about the Zoom payment update. So the department is going to pay for 1 base license per neighborhood council. Thank you again for your patience as the department continues to investigate the appropriate financial processes for neighborhood council boards to acquire additional Zoom licenses and then reimburse the department for the original prepaid annual license. Unfortunately, as the fiscal year drew to a close in June 2022, we were unable to nail down the process with the NC funding program and the controller's office. And so that they continue to investigate that topic. So for now, I believe as Lydia, the president, mentioned earlier, the department will pay for 1 base license. If you requested additional licenses, we have that on file and we're working to provide those to each neighborhood council as we're able to. And then lastly, I want to remind everyone that the Los Angeles Congress of Neighborhoods will take place on Saturday, September 24th. And again, I'll also share the email update in order for you to have the link to be able to sign up for that. That is going to take place via Zoom as well. And those are the updates that I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you. John, your hand is up. Did you have a question?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Preciado, just to ask a kindergarten question here. You mentioned 1 base license. Does that license have a number of seats, or does 1 license equal 1 seat, meaning the beautification committee cannot have a meeting at the same time as the traffic committee because they only have 1 Zoom license to date so far?
Yes, that is true. If you do have multiple committees meeting at the same time, then you would need additional Zoom licenses.
Got it. Just want to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, Raul, if you could help us, we would like to know how to set our settings so that we can get the transcription feature.
Yes, let me get the instructions for that and send those over to you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, I'm looking around. Okay, everyone I believe has spoken. Number 5, moving on to number 5 is also I want to mention that Belinda Woodruff joined the meeting at 7:25. And we'll go now to the Land Use Committee, report from the Land Use Committee, discussion possible action that the STNC Board approves LUC support letter for 6239 Foothill Boulevard, Tahunga. The item is up on the screen so you can see the different codes that they give it. The conditional use to allow sale of full line alcohol in conjunction with expanding to a 2011 square foot grocery store at Shop Easy. Patty, did you want to go ahead and present?
Well, the letter pretty well says that Shop Easy, years ago it was a big market. But anyway, basically because they're expanding into the next space in that mall, they need to do their conditional use for alcohol redo. They do presently sell alcohol, the full line. But just because they're going into a larger area, they're expanding their area, they need to redo it. That's pretty well all there is to it. I don't know if anybody has any questions on that.
Okay, are there any questions? If so, raise your hand.
Can you share the letter on the screen?
It's in the packet. I don't remember seeing it. I'll look.
It's in the
Hold
packet.
on.
But in the letter, I think it was mentioned that they have been a longstanding business in Sumlandahunga. We've never heard of any issues with them. The other businesses in that strip mall have no issues with it, that they've told me anyway.
Looks like that is on page 14 of our 23-page packet.
Yeah, there it is, yeah. And I cannot really read it very well, but it says this business has a long reputation, history with the Sumlandahunga. I can't.
Did you want me to read it, Patty?
Yeah, if you can read it better, because I can't.
Sure. So the CUB is to allow the sale of full line of alcohol beverages for off-site consumption in conjunction with the expanded store with daily operation hours of 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily in the C2 1VL zone. The Sumlandahunga Neighborhood Council, STNC, and Land Use Committee, LUC, met with the owner's representative, Liliger Damaso, at the July 18th, 2022 LUC meeting. She is here today at this meeting if there's any questions. This business has a long reputable history with Sumlandahunga, and their wish to expand their space to continue to sell a full line of alcohol beverages for offsite consumption is acceptable. As noted in the application, the hours of operation will be 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Upon the recommendation of the STNC's Land Use Committee, the Sumlandahunga Neighborhood Council at its August 10, 2022 meeting voted to support this application with a vote of, and this is the breakdown of how we submit them. So right now we haven't voted on it. So we'll go back to the item on the agenda. And I will ask if I have a motion to approve this letter.
This is Carol. I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Carol. Do I have a second?
This is Belinda. I'll second it.
Thank you, Belinda. Are there any questions in regards to this item? If so, please raise your hand.
John
Okay.
Van Gunten has his hand raised.
Okay, John, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I see that it says here the hours. I don't see that is a change of hours greater or lesser than before. Can Ms. Damaso answer that, please?
Okay, asking her to unmute. You're unmuted, Ms. Damaso.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon. The hours are the same. The hours are remaining the same.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll go to the attendees of the meeting to find out if anyone has any questions or any comments on this item. If so, please raise your hand. I also would like to mention that Nina Royal is in the meeting at 7:45. I do not see any hands. We'll go back to the board for a vote.
Just a moment. Let me.
When you're ready, Carol.
Trying to promote Nina, the panelist.
I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you. All right. Lydia Grant,
Yes.
Lala Rowe,
Yes.
Ed Babakanian,
Yes.
Carol Hutchinson is yes, Lenny Freeman,
Yes.
KT Travers,
Yes.
Trevor Schmidt,
Yes.
Claire Gordon,
Yes.
John Van Gunten,
Yes.
Karen Moran,
Yes.
Belinda Woodruff,
Yes.
Cheryl Smith,
Yes.
Shirley Kim,
Yes.
Chris Rowe,
Yes.
Nina,
Yes.
thank you, Cindy Claycorn.
Yes.
Mark Siegel.
Yes.
Okay, one moment. That is 17 yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just one moment.
All right.
Okay, moving on to the committee and liaison reports. Budget and finance, do we have a budget advocate report?
This is for our committee. That would be Ed.
Okay, Ed, do you have anything you'd like to mention?
Sorry, I'm trying to get off mute. No update. We did not have a budget and finance committee meeting this past month. So we'll pick that up this month.
Okay, thank you. Land use, Patty, are there any other updates?
No, other than letting people know we will not have a meeting the first Monday of September because that is a, what is that? Labor Day.
Labor Day.
We will have, our meeting is this coming Monday, but so we'll only have one meeting in September. That's it.
Okay, great, thank you. And moving on to the STAC committee, Pat Kramer.
Thank you, Lydia. I am here. Pat Kramer here. We have organized another watering event that's going to be just for Sunland, just for Foothill Boulevard. It's going to be Saturday, August 27th, starting at 7:30. We are going to meet at the parking lot of the Sunland Tahunga Chamber. Stephanie Mines is helping us with this. She's a member on the board of the chamber. She is generously providing us with access to their water. And we are asking any volunteers, any STNC members, friends, neighbors, members of other committees, parents, children, to please show up and please also bring gallon jugs to put water in because we cannot provide you with all of the receptacles to water trees. But we will ask you to water 2 trees or more if you would like. Each tree gets at least 5 gallons of water, and it's just going to be the 1 mile stretch between Mount Gleason and the Sunland Freeway exit. So, you know, we should be able to do that in less than 3 hours if we get enough volunteers. And I would like to ask STNC, someone on the STNC to bring the easy up so we have a little bit of shade. I still have some water left over from our last event and some granola bars, so I'll bring those. I know there's no time to ask for any funding, so we'll just make do with what we have. So that's August 27th. Please put it on your calendar. And I did send a flyer to Carol and Cindy. If you could please put it on the website for STNC, that would be awesome. And then I also wanted to tell you that I just got off a call with Captain Nyman from Valley Traffic, LAPD Valley Traffic. LAPD Valley Traffic is doing a once a month webinar with the public, just anyone who wants to be on that webinar to ask questions. And I attended it from 6:30 to 7:30. And I learned that they have a free program now to install child safety seats in cars. For any parents who aren't sure how to install them, they can call Valley Traffic, and there are several officers there that will schedule an appointment on a Thursday, any Thursday, to meet with parents, put the car seat in their car for them and show them how to do it also. Apparently there was a fatal accident last week somewhere in the valley, which involved a parent and children that were not properly secured in their child safety seats. So this is definitely an issue they want to resolve. And as far as that goes, I'm trying to get the stats for the Foothill Division for any new fatalities that we've had in the last 2 months. I don't have it tonight because he was just sharing it tonight and I didn't get the breakdown from Foothill Division, what specifically applied to Sunland Tahunga. So as soon as I get that, I will share it. But I did want to tell you, I happened upon a pretty bad accident at the intersection of Ora Vista and Hill Rose at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. It didn't look like anyone was injured, but definitely 2 cars totaled right in the middle of that intersection. So, everyone be careful, watch out for the people who are speeding and drive safely. Over and out.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone here from the Stark Committee that wanted to speak? I don't see.
May I add one other thing I
Sure.
forgot to say? National Night Out was last Tuesday, and we were represented by John Von Gunten, who gave out certifications of appreciation to several of our officers, including Officer Joel Flores, our traffic safety officer, and several of our senior lead officers, including former senior lead officer Cesar Contreras, who served us for many years. So I want to thank John for attending and giving out those certificates on behalf of the STAT committee and all the other members of the STAT committee who were there and got out and talked to people and held down the fort. Thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you. Next is a community improvement and government affairs. Lala, did you have a report or comment?
No additional report at this time. We're going to have our regular meeting in a week on Thursday.
Thank you. Outreach. Is there anyone on the outreach committee that wanted to do a report?
Well, this is Carol. I'm not on the outreach committee, but since Karen's not here, there is going to be an outreach event at Pinewood School on August 30th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. It's actually Parents' Night Out. And it's also kind of a combined beautification outreach because beautification is going to get a chance to show off their mural. There's been a couple problems come up with the mural with in the wall. There's something wrong in the wall. So it's kind of brought the mural to a halt for a little while. But anyway, so we'd like any and all board members that are going to be available, just come out. We'll put up the pop-up and the table and we'll have some handouts and flyers about the STNC. And I believe later on, we're going to, one of our agenda items is to ask for some money so that we can hand out, some water and some cookies because food always tends to bring people in. So anyway, but that's it. It's August 30th. 5:30 to 7. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Youth and adult education. Lala.
Yes. So we were unable to have our last meeting, and we are going to have a meeting tomorrow night at 6:30. It's a special meeting because it's an unusual schedule for us. But tomorrow night at 6:30, we will have a meeting with the main focus of that being how to actually outreach to our students and our schools. And I hope that you all can attend that.
Thank you. I don't see anybody from the beautification committee, and Carol just gave an update on the mural. Liaison reports, Lank, Vank, budget advocates. I would like to give a report from Lank. The speaker at the Lank meeting on Saturday was Sheriff Villanueva, and also we had put on the Lank agenda to address the grand jury investigation into the evacuation routes that the Sunland Tahunga Neighbor Council did that motion and started the ball rolling. We are very excited to have Fire Chief Moore there at the meeting and discussed it with neighborhood councils across the city. And many of the neighborhood councils were really excited about what we're doing and are also going to take it up and do it for their own community. So I wanted to share that because that's pretty exciting. And also all board members received a survey to do. It is a survey that asks each board member to give their opinion on how the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment is doing as far as providing services. So please, board members, get that turned in soon, because it only has a few day window. So if you could work on that, it would be appreciated. And then Cindy, do you have a report for VANC or Budget Advocates?
Yeah, the Valley Alliance meeting will be tomorrow night. And it was originally going to be a superintendent of schools for LAUSD, but there's a scheduling conflict, so he won't be there. They will be talking about the Metro North San Fernando Valley Corridor Transit Project. So if anyone travels through the valley on Metro, you might find this update of interest. There'll also be some updates regarding the Whiteman Airport, and then they'll be going over a lot of various hot topics that are on for the agenda of neighborhood councils these days. So that meeting starts at 6:30. It's on Zoom. If anybody wants the login, you can get it from the link website, or you can contact myself or Lydia and we can get it to you. So thank you.
Thank you. Ad hoc bylaws and standing rules committee. Sandy is not available, and we will be getting a meeting scheduled to go over the standing rules. The bylaws were already approved, but we needed to clean up some of the standing rules. So that will be coming in the near future. Item number 7 is the discussion and action to fill vacant board seats.
Lydia, can
Yes.
you hold 1 second? Can you back up to the budget advocates? I'm
Yes.
the budget advocate for Region 1. In addition, Kevin Davis, president of Foothill Trails, is also the other budget advocate for Region 1. We'll be holding a strategic planning meeting on the 20th of August. And that's my update for this month. Thank you.
Thank you. So moving on to the discussion and action to fill the vacant board seats. Item number 1 is discussion and motion to approve Mike Guglia, a stakeholder group representative for Verdugo Hills Cemetery restoration. I was going to say
information, and I believe he's here.
Yeah, he's here, and we did verify the driver's license and the documents.
Hello there. How you doing?
How are you? Good. Did you want to go ahead and speak for a minute or two and let us know why you're interested in joining the board?
Sure, absolutely. I've lived in Tonga for over 10 years now, and I've been frequenting the neighborhood mountains and the history for almost 20. So I'm pretty convinced that this area is the best part of Los Angeles. And so I hope to help keep it that way. And thank you all for the consideration.
Thank you. Do any of the board members have any questions for Michael? If so, please raise your hand. I do not see any hands raised. I would like to ask a question. Oh, good. Kathleen has a question too. I would like to ask a question. Michael, what committees might you be interested in being on?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I'm actually not very familiar with them all and exactly what their purpose is. So I don't feel super comfortable answering that, but I'm happy to talk through it if you want.
Okay. Kathleen, do you have a question?
Yes. What do you bring in your background and experience to something like a neighborhood council?
I'm actually relatively new to this sort of thing. So I'm hopefully relatively outside perspective. I'm a small business owner and I love the local history. So I definitely have a great appreciation for the area, but definitely inexperienced with this sort of process.
Well, thank you. And thank you for trying us out.
Yep.
Any other questions from board members? Okay, do I have a motion to approve Michael to a group representative seat?
I move, this is Lala.
Thank you, Lala. Do I have a second?
This is Belinda. I'll second it.
Thank you. And before we vote on it, are there any community members who have a comment? If you'd like to raise your hand, this is your opportunity to make a comment on the vote for Michael before we take it. I do not see any hands. So we'll go back to the board members. Board members, are there any other questions or comments before we go to the vote? If so, raise your hand. I do not see any. Carol, could we please call for the vote?
Yes, so if you just unmute yourself, please. Lydia Grant,
Yes.
Lala Rowe,
Yes.
Ed Babakanian,
Yes.
Carol Hutchinson, yes. Lenny Freeman,
Yes.
KT Travers,
Yes.
Trevor Schmidt,
Yes.
Claire Gordon,
Yes.
John Van Gunten,
Yes.
Karen Moran,
Yes.
Belinda Woodruff,
Yes.
Cheryl Smith,
Yes.
Shirley Kim,
Yes.
Chris Rowe,
Yes.
Nina Royal,
Yes.
Cindy Claycorn,
Yes.
and Mark Siegel.
Abstain.
Abstain? All righty. So. That's 16 yes and 1 abstain.
Great, thank you. The next seat, I need to ask Sherry McCoy, were you able to get your letter for Neighborhood Watch yet? She's in.
There's, okay, she's unmuted.
Okay, thank you.
Sherry?
Sherry, can you hear us? She may have stepped away. Sherry? John Van Gunten, do you know if she has been able to get the letter for Neighborhood Watch yet?
I do not know if she has received the letter. There was at Foothill a series of vacations and then illnesses that were the only barrier in her getting that letter. And if she does not have one in her hand today or by the end of this week, it is simply a matter of logistics and nothing else. There's no functional reason and absolutely no objection that I have heard of, and I have been, trying to follow it fairly closely.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Officer Kaloka. Just so you guys know, my supervisor has been out for over a week and a half, and I had been on vacation off and off the whole month. So the letter is going to be coming.
Okay.
But I don't have it yet, probably until tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. What I'd like to do, and Sherry, sorry, because we would like to vote on this tonight, but we want to make sure all our documents are in a row. So I would ask if the board has any objection to postponing this and putting it on next month's agenda so we can make sure that we get that letter. Are there any objections? If so, board members, please raise your hand.
Me.
Go ahead, Nina.
Could we not do a provisional okay based on the receipt of the letter? Would that be a problem? I mean, to wait a whole month seems ridiculous.
Sherry's welcome to participate, like if she'd like to go to the, whatever committee she'd like to go to and things like that, but we need to have the documentation.
Then let's do that. Let's make sure that she gets signed up for whatever committee she wants to go into.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Anybody's welcome to participate in the committee. So I will talk to her offline because I'm not sure if she can hear us, but we'll go ahead and postpone this till the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you, everybody. And Sherry, thank you for being interested in joining the board. And then, okay. Next items are the consent calendar items. Consent calendar items are considered to be non-controversial. We treat it as one agenda item. Any board member or stakeholder may request that an item be removed. There will be no discussion of these items unless an item is removed from the consent calendar, in which case it will go to the end of the new business and be considered as time allows. Motion, the Central and Topanga Neighbor Council Board approves the funding consent calendar. Do I? Hold on one moment. I had the hiccups. Hold on one second. I'll go ahead and read them first and then we'll ask for the motion. A is discussion action to approve the June 2022 monthly expenditure report, MER and balances. B is discussion action to approve July 2022 monthly expenditure report and balances. Discussion C is discussion and action to approve up to $2,000 for movies in the park with location at one of our parks or other Topanga Little League field. D, discussion action to approve up to $150 for water ice buckets or ice buckets cookies for Pinewood School welcome taking place on August 30th, 5:30 to 7. The board already approved last fiscal year. The revote is required in this fiscal year. E is discussion action to approve up to $300 for printed postcard or business cards promoting STNC. Those are regular business cards for new board members or people who haven't received them yet. F is discussion and action approve up to $1,500 to sponsor Making It Happen for their back to school backpack drive. That is for a sponsorship for us, and that is outreach sponsorship. This discussion and action to approve up to $600 to cover the cost of STNC committee banners to be used at outreach and tabling events. Do I have a motion?
I move, this is Lala.
I second, this is Nina.
Thank you. Lala made the motion, Nina seconded. Are there any questions from board members before we go?
Yes, Madam President. I believe that items A and B, but I need to confirm with Ed.
Yeah, we need to pull those, Cindy.
Pull those. Okay.
Yep.
If we could
Okay.
pull item A and B, we don't have them. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will go to the community. Is there anyone, first I want to check for hands, make sure there's no hands. Okay, attendees, are there any comments on these items before we take a vote? If so, please raise your hand. I do not see any hands raised. Kathleen Travers.
I
Do you
have
have
a
a comment?
question. Yes. What is a sponsorship as opposed to anything else that it could be?
Oh, I'm going to answer the question. Otherwise, we can pull the item. Carol, could you put the paper up on the screen? Do you have it, or Cindy?
Is that
It
for the
is-
making?
Yeah,
is that
making
for
it
the
happen.
Making It Happen?
Yeah, so Making It Happen is going to be doing a backpack event.
I think she's talking about in general what a sponsorship is.
So a sponsorship is an outreach for us as a neighborhood council to get a table, to get people will send out flyers and use social media to promote the neighborhood council. And for that, we give a certain amount of money towards whatever the item is that they're doing. So we call it paying for a sponsorship package, but they will be doing the outreach for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And John, your hand is up.
Thank you. With regard to the backpacks, have we made certain that there will be an STNC mention pasted on those backpacks in some fashion? That's one of the requirements of us paying for things, isn't it?
Yes, and in fact, if we're going to continue to discuss it, I'll pull the item out, but I can answer the question, yes. And some of the imprinted items that we got, like the water bottles with the STNC, will be put in the backpacks. There's 175 of them left from the event at the National Night Out event. And I wanted to just piggyback for half a second. Cheryl did such an amazing job of keeping track of everything that at the end of the evening, she actually itemized what was left of all the items we had ordered, and they're in boxes with how many are left. And so I happen to know there's 175 water bottles. We do have Post-its. We have some other things. So if we would like to have those go out in the backpacks, we can. Okay. So if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and do we get a motion on the item?
Yes, and
Yes.
Lala, Was made the motion, Nina
Nina
seconded.
seconded. Okay, so let's call for the vote.
Okay. Lydia Grant,
Yes.
Lala Rowe,
Yes.
Ed Babakanian,
Yes.
Carol Hutchinson is yes, Lenny Freeman,
Yes.
Katie Travers,
Yes.
Trevor Schmidt,
Yes.
Claire Gordon,
Yes.
John Van Gunten,
Yes.
Karen Moran,
Yes.
Linda Woodruff,
Yes.
Carol Smith,
Yes.
Shirley Kim,
Yes.
Chris Rowe,
Yes.
Nina Royal,
Yes.
Cindy Cleghorn,
Yes.
Mark Siegel.
Yes.
Okay, one moment. At 17, yes, thank you.
Thank you. And we can have a table at the event if board members are interested. That is one of the outreach options available to us, is to have the easy up and a table and everything to be part of the giveaway. Okay, moving on to consent calendar items that are non-funding. I'm gonna go ahead and read these. If you want to pull them out of consent, let me know. The first one is a motion regarding the sidewalk and transit amenities program, STAP it's called, digital signs. Whereas the Sunland Tonga Neighborhood Council has previously expressed serious concerns regarding the sidewalk and transit amenities program, STAP, and about the digital signs in particular. Whereas the program will involve the collection of individuals' personal data, and the city does not define what data will be collected, which vendors and or city departments will have access to it, or how it will be used. Whereas the program has moved forward for city council review, having been misrepresented to the public and without addressing critical concerns and questions raised during public outreach. Whereas the further failure to produce an environmental impact report and perform all CEQA review is problematic, and the introduction of a new LA municipal code, LAMC, within the STAP mitigated negative declaration is inappropriate, as there's already is a dedicated LAMC to allow for advertising on public right-of-way for transit shelters. Whereas the failure to incorporate any formal avenues for input and consideration from neighborhood councils or from the local city council district offices on further future placement of structures in this program or in any new programs resulting from the new LAMC is unacceptable. Resolved, the Sunland Tonga Neighborhood Council opposes the actions of the LA City Council related to digital signs in council files 22-0392, 21-0600-S110, and 20-1536. Be it further resolved, the Sunland Tonga Neighborhood Council strongly opposes the collection of any personal data in conjunction with this program. And that has the numbers of which council files to post it to. Moving on to item B, motion in support of the draft wildlife ordinance. Whereas Los Angeles has extraordinary natural wildlife resources distributed across the broad landscape, and whereas wildlife vitality depends critically on open migration for animals to find food and to reproduce, and whereas the city of Los Angeles is considering a wildlife district supplemental use district and zone change, which would create a special wildlife district in the Santa Monica Mountains, which carefully considered modifications to zoning and planning requirements, such as setbacks, lot coverage, fencing, lighting, grading, would be made to preserve wildlife connectivity through private and commercial properties. And whereas it is in the best interest of all city residents to preserve and enhance our irreplaceable and valuable natural heritage, therefore the Sunland Tonga Neighborhood Council supports the proposed wildlife district supplemental use district and zone change. And CIS letters will be sent to city planning department along with the other information that's there. And C, the motion that the STNC, can you scroll up? Motion that the STNC support the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils VANC resolution regarding the Northeast Valley Animal Shelter. The Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils VANC represents the 34 neighborhood councils throughout the San Fernando Valley, including all of the neighborhood councils in the vicinity of the Northeast Valley Animal Shelter. This shelter is a city facility built with Proposition F funds to be a municipal animal shelter open to the public. It was not meant to be a private facility to house rescue organizations. Nevertheless, the Board of Animal Services Commissioners has issued an RFP, request for proposal, to do just that. Lease the Northeast Valley Animal Shelter to rescue organizations to operate. The Board of Animal Services Commissioners and Animal Services Department did not provide an opportunity for the affected neighborhood councils to provide input into this decision. Therefore, it is resolved that VANC takes a position that the Department of Animal Services and City Council should receive input from the affected neighborhood councils before releasing the request for proposal to rescue organizations to operate the Northeast Valley Animal Shelter. The lack of transparency is very concerning on a matter of as important as who will operate the Northeast Valley Shelter and the terms of operation. City Council motion was dated 8/5/2022. So do we want to vote on these like on a consent calendar, or is there any that need to be pulled out?
Madam President, I move to vote consent for these items.
Okay.
A second.
and- Okay, so Cindy made the motion, Nina seconds. Okay, any comments from the community members? If so, raise your hand. I do not see any hands. Let's go back to the board members, and Carol, call for the vote.
All right. Lydia Grant,
Yes.
Paula Rowe,
Yes.
Ed Babakinian,
Yes.
Carol Hutchinson is yes. Lenny Freeman,
Yes.
KT Travers,
Yes.
Trevor Schmidt,
Yes.
Claire Gordon,
Yes.
John Van Gunten,
Yes.
Karen Moran,
Yes.
Linda Woodruff,
Yes.
Cheryl Smith,
Yes.
Shirley Kim,
Yes.
Chris Rowe,
Yes.
Nina Royal,
Yes, thank you to the writers.
Cindy Claycorn,
Yes.
and Mark Siegel.
Yes.
And Mike is not eligible to vote as far as I know. So,
Okay, Mike, we'll make sure that you get your trainings.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
so that's 17 yes and 1 ineligible.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to the next item, new business. The presentation and trainings on neighborhood council system. So this is one of those placeholders we always have. Just letting everybody know the city council is gonna soon be working on the anti-bias training that the boards are gonna have to take. That's gonna be coming down the pike here pretty soon. And there's some other programs available. There's funding trainings available with the city clerk's office. They usually post those on the city clerk site. Also, as Raul mentioned, they're going to have the digital media training. And also, any of the trainings that the department does are available to watch online. There is a channel at the Empower LA website. So if you've missed a training or interested in something, please feel free to go watch those. And one of the things that's available is Robert's Rules of Order. If you're interested in learning how to run meetings, that one is also available. Moving on to general public comment. Do we have any members in the community that would like to make a comment tonight? Any of our attendees? If so, I'm sorry, I see your hand.
Madam President, this is Cindy. Before you leave the training part, I just wanted to let you know that I've been collecting the like Facebook, Instagram, all of the spots that our neighborhood council has had but may not be actively using, or maybe they are being actively used but are under other committee chairs or someone else's control off the board. So look for, catching up with that before the, because we're going to need to be on top of that come October 1st. So just want
Great.
October 4th.
Yeah, so if you are a committee chair and you have a Facebook page for the neighborhood council or for your committee, you need to talk with Cindy because there's a whole bunch of new rules coming down as far as running those pages that we have to follow. So that's what Cindy is referencing. So we need to make sure we're up on the digital media policy. And okay, going over to the community, I see 2 hands raised. Patty Potter, go ahead.
I just want to remind everybody, in case you didn't get it, I hope you got it, that the Chamber of Commerce put out a survey with regards to the property on Foothill and Apperson. They put it on Facebook. I don't know where else they put it. But I'm not sure if everybody got it or if you don't do different places on Facebook. I know they didn't do North next day, so I put it on our next door. But it's, if anybody's interested in doing that survey and they haven't, they can always send an email to Stephanie Meyer, who is on the board. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay, so I just want to bring that to everybody's attention. It's closes. They have to have it done by the 15th. So anyway, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then caller ending in 763, please feel free to go ahead and speak.
Hi, it's Mark Dutton.
Hey,
How
Mark.
is everybody?
Great, thank you.
So I have 2 things to say. I just officially filed to run for Los Angeles Community College District Board of Trustees. So I'll be putting out information on that soon. And I'm looking forward to winning that seat. Secondly, here for the STNC voting against that data collection idea from the city. It's not only dangerous for data collection for members of the community. It's just unnecessarily ridiculous. But it also is very distracting for drivers, and it costs a lot of money. So good for you guys. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other comments from the community? If so, raise your hand. Pat Kramer, go ahead.
Yes, in addition to what our stat committee is doing with the tree watering event on August 27th, we do have a crew of volunteers that include stat committee members as well as community volunteers. And we do go out every week or every other week, and we improve the areas around the trees so that they can absorb water better, which includes aerating them and fertilizing and mulching the trees. If anybody is interested in joining our volunteer community crew, you can get a hold of me and I will give you an update on where we're working on any given week. And it's Pat Kramer, STNC@gmail.com. I want to acknowledge that John Von Gunten, Lenny Freeman, Mark Dutton, Matt from the Beautification Committee, Glenn Claddy from my stat committee. Let's see, who else works on our committee? John, can you think of anyone, a couple of people in the community that are just volunteering for the first time have joined us, including the mother of a young child who came out with her 11-year-old daughter. So we're really trying to make some outreach into the community by letting people water trees and help us with pruning and get involved in taking care of the trees so that we can have healthier trees and people will appreciate them. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you and everybody for supporting us.
Pat, I think you missed Lenny Freeman.
I did say
Okay.
his name.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I know he's also been working very hard. Looking for trash can space to borrow. He's been doing a great job. So thank you. And let's go ahead and move on to the next item. Final announcements and board announcements. Are there any final announcements from board members? If so, please raise your hand. I see Kathleen. Kathleen, go ahead. Wait.
I just had a comment going back to the call to order and the board member attendance. And I understand the requirement for attendance. It is a very reasonable requirement. However, during a pandemic, I know that I got COVID and had to miss a meeting, and I'm certain that other people may have experienced that And I think that some tolerance perhaps would be if people have missed a meeting due to COVID. And I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want to respond to Kathleen necessarily, but I did want to make a note that the policies in the bylaws, we have to follow them. And it says any absences within a 12-month period, and that it's automatic removal, but that the person is welcome to reapply for their position. Carol, go ahead, please.
No, I just want to give a big thank you to all my fellow STNC people who volunteered their time and energies to come out and make the National Night Out such a success. I mean, thank you to Lenny. I mean, the tables, the chairs, all that transport and everything, you know, Cheryl and helping set up the kids area. I mean, really, the board members really worked hard, and I think they deserve a lot of thank yous for all their work for making National Night Out such a success. And I know the police really enjoyed it. They came out and people were happy to talk to them and happy to see them and say hi. And so it was just a great night out. And I hope we can do it again. Thank you.
Thank you. And I wanted to thank Nina for doing such a great job. I mean, Nina just was the backbone of the whole event, and jumping in to get a second band at the last minute was so appreciated. So thank you, Nina. Nina, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I personally wanted to thank everybody. Carol, yourself, Cindy, Cheryl. There's so many to name. John. I hope I said Lenny. You guys were absolutely fantastic. I always said it takes a village, not one person. It took everybody to pull this off. And the LAPD, who were very generous with us in helping and getting the cadets and all of that. I think it was, and Bolton Hall. They stayed open and they had a terrific attendance. They were really, really pleased. So they're part of the attraction as well. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody, including the church across the way, that allowed us to use their parking lot, and the Elks Lodge and the Elks Riders and everybody, just thank you all so much. You really are, you rock. Okay. So until next year, see you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Lenny, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up something that was on the subject that was brought up earlier about not being able to get to our stuff if it were moved into North Valley City Hall. There's a lot of things in both of those storage facilities that we don't touch, and we can move that stuff into North Valley City Hall, and then combined with doing that and getting rid of things that we don't need, like those owl boxes, we can have the most commonly used items still available sitting in one storage facility, and therefore we can cut our storage costs in half. Think about that. I'm done.
Can I respond to Lenny?
Yes.
We have 2 sets of disaster preparedness tote, I don't know what you would want to call them, utility boxes. And we really need to have one set down in Sunland, Tahunga, and one set down in Sunland. That's the reason why we got 2. So if anybody knows of places where we could easily get to them at an emergency's notice that isn't behind a couple of locked doors, please turn it into us so that we can turn around and figure out what to do with these, because they're just a waste sitting in a storage. It takes 2 different kinds of locks to get into and not available 24/7. So think about it, everybody, and turn in your suggestions, please. Thank you.
Thank you. John, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out to everyone here, so that you can spread the word, that we have a very high participation, a very high degree of creativity amongst the communities in Los Angeles. We hear that when people come to our neighborhood watch meetings, who go to many neighborhood watch meetings, and they say, wow, that's participation. We saw it in the National Night Out, where we filled the park from Lowell over, not from Lowell, from Samoa over to Commerce. And we saw it with a high degree of participation of our officers and everyone else. I just wanted to share one thing that I remember hearing at my niece's bar mitzvah, and that is, if not I, who? And if not now, when? And we're doing that, and I think we can all go out and encourage more people to do it, because we're doing fine. Let's get some more recruits. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much. And Cindy, go ahead.
You said, you announced earlier that Karen Purdue has resigned.
Yes.
We need to read the position, and if we could do that at tonight's meeting, I'd be happy to read it. It's very short.
We'd love for you to read it. Thank you.
Okay. The second vice president shall chair the outreach committee. They shall assume the duties of the president when both the president and first vice president are unable to do so. That's it.
Okay, and they run the outreach committee.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, and I would, Carol, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forget. I leave it up.
Oh,
I'm
that's
done.
okay. I because it was on the agenda and we could have discussed it earlier, we didn't. I wanted to speak to the storage items. Lenny, I'd like to assign you getting rid of the owl boxes. We need to get, I have an idea of seeing if DWP will partner with us to get those things put up in the canyon. So contact me during the daytime, maybe tomorrow. And also on the storage items, the council office is only letting us store the tables and chairs and the Sunland emergency preparedness. They will not allow us to put in any of the other items. No shelving, no boxes, no, nothing but the tables and chairs and the emergency preparedness containers, just so you're aware, because
Well, they're being.
we can't discuss it. We're not
Well,
discussing it, but
why am I not surprised? Thank you very much.
but just telling that is the facts, that we were allowed to move some things in, but that is it. And that's why we have not done it yet, because the things that we would need to move in there are not the things we can move. Pat?
Yes, I was at a presentation that Dana Stengel gave recently, and she was mentioning that she was still waiting for the owl boxes that were purchased for her owl habitat work that she's doing. So I believe that we should contact Dana. She is the person who will put those up. She knows where to put them up, where the owls would migrate to, and where the best place for their habitat would be.
Thank you. It was Dana Stengel who purchased the owl boxes, and we've had them now in storage for like 6 years.
Yeah, but she was talking about still waiting for the owl boxes when I saw her 3 weeks ago.
They may be different ones. We can reach out to her. If you want to reach out to her, you're welcome to. But they also have to be put within the boundaries of the Sunland Tonga Neighborhood Council. That's one of the.
Yeah, I'll send her an email and let her know to contact somebody at STNC. But those don't throw them out. I mean, those are.
Oh, no, they're not getting
something that
thrown
she
out.
needs. She would be the best person. She was our animal issues advocate, and she was also a former president of STNC.
Right, and under her presidency, she purchased them and they never got hung up. So they have been in storage ever since. So yeah, if you'd like to reach out with her, by all means.
Okay, very good.
Okay, and with that, I would like to adjourn the meeting at, gotta look at the clock, hold on. 8:35. We got out of here early, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Good night.
Bravo.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Thank
Wonderful
you.
meeting, guys.
Thank you.
Good work, Lydia.
Thank you.